What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video at JDH Aquatics where we talk about anything aquariums related. Today we're going to be going over pico reef tanks and if you should get a pico reef, some of the challenges and the benefits of keeping one of these small aquariums. And at the same time, I want to give a quick review on this ReefCasa flat 6-gallon pico because it was sent to me a few months ago, and although I did a very short review on the aquarium when it was dry, we now have a few inverts in there as well as a couple pieces of coral and the mangroves. So I just want to give a more in-depth kind of review as well as how it's been for the past month of it being set up. Real quick before we do that, let's jump into the tank really quick and just show you guys the new addition. I think he's hiding under this rock, but he was out for most of the day, but we got a nice little cleaner shrimp in there. And I think we are going to be doing a pair in this aquarium. If we jump over to the left over here, to the right, for the 30-gallon, we've got the new addition, which is this nice little clown goby, I believe is what it is. And he likes to perch up in this toadstool, but he's been real active and out and about for most of the day as well. Fiery goby over here is still doing good. He kind of hangs out in this little corner. Here we go all the way over here. We've got the 20-gallon with both of the clowns still doing great right up there. So the first challenge we're going to talk about is probably the most common and the first thought of challenge when you think of setting up a pico reef, which is going to be how attentive you need to be towards the aquarium and the fluctuations that are going to happen within it. So salinity is probably the biggest parameter swing that you're going to see in a pico reef, at least long term. Having such a small volume of water and the water evaporating, you have to top this thing off. No joke, at least once a day, if not even twice a day. So a 6-gallon pico like this, you've got maybe 5 gallons of water actually in this system, and it just evaporates extremely quick. So topping it off is probably the number one thing that you're gonna have to deal with, as well as other parameter swings. If you are setting up this tank for the first time and cycling it, you may have some pretty drastic ammonia nitrite swings. As well as some other stuff. If something dies in here, you're of course going to have significant parameter swings that happen quick. So you have to be aware of that and just pay attention to what's going on in the tank, as well as test it. Now, the next little challenge I had with this tank, and it might not happen with you if you have a idea already in mind, but for me, it was a little difficult to scape this aquarium. Even though it's so small and what I have going on there is pretty simple, finding the right pieces of rock and just kind of formulating an aquascape that works with what you have in mind, it's kind of difficult. Now, you can get, pre-made like aquascapes, I guess, or glue pieces together and construct your own scape that way, which would be much easier than just trying to go to your local reef store, pick out some rock and throw it in there, which is exactly what I did. We may rescape it in the future and center the mangroves in the tank and do a new lighting setup, but that's something for the future. The other thing too is you can't place large rocks in here, so when you do aquascape this tank or any pico in general, you just have to find really small pieces that work together and try to create like a miniature scape that you would in a larger aquarium. And the last challenge, I would say this is more for someone that's a new reefer, new to the hobby, not so much someone that maybe has a second tank, or if they've been in the hobby for a while and they know what kind of corals they like, but you can't fit too much in a pico. Fish wise especially, you mostly can't get away with putting any sort of fish in a pico. At least in my opinion, I feel like anything that's under like 5 gallons, this 6-gallon pico to me is still too small for a fish. And with it having no lid as well, I don't see myself putting a fish in this tank. A couple of shrimp and inverts, yes, but it's very difficult to find fish to put into a pico reef. And when it even comes to coral and coral placement, there's still not a lot of space. So that is one challenge you may run into, especially if you're new to the hobby and you're going to get that coral itch and you want to buy every frag that you see. You will eventually run out of space pretty quick because it's such a small area. Moving on to, I guess, a more positive note, leading off of the last challenge, which was that you couldn't fit that much in a pico reef. That might also be a benefit for you because you're able to fill out the aquarium quick and you don't have to spend a lot or go out and get a lot of coral for it to look full and really good. Now I realize I don't have a lot in my pico reef. I've got 2 frags of some star polyps, I've got a small frag of a gorgonia, and I've got the 2 mangroves, which you can't even see the tops of, but the 2 mangroves are the biggest, I guess, showpiece of the aquarium. And that's why I kind of want to center them in the tank, because that's what the tank is mainly set up for. But even having these few pieces of coral and a couple of inverts like the cleaner shrimp and the Nassarius snails, it makes for a very interesting aquarium because it's so small you can really observe and see everything that's moving around. The next benefit I would say is that since this tank is so small, yes, you have to do frequent water changes, but those water changes are extremely easy because they're extremely small. So for instance, this 5-gallon pico, doing a water change would literally be half a gallon of water. So when I go in to siphon this tank, I gravel vac it as much as I can and I pinch the tube so not too much water comes out, but the water change itself takes probably 30 seconds to a minute, and then I dump in another half gallon of fresh salt water, which doesn't even really put a dent into my saltwater jugs, and I do that weekly. Now the next benefit is probably the reason why you would even consider getting a pico reef in the first place, and that is because you can place it just about anywhere and they're really simple and easy to set up, so you can move it around, break it down, set it up. You can put them on countertops if your countertop can support just a little bit of weight. You can find a stand like I did and place it next to another aquarium, place it next to a TV or a dresser or something like that. But pico reefs, you can put them pretty much just about anywhere. And they're a nice little sliver of the ocean in that room they're in. But I think that's a big reason of why people are interested in pico reefs in the first place. It's not really a benefit, but it's more of a perk of a pico reef, and that is that I think they're really unique compared to like my 30-gallon here, which is a pretty standard size for a 30-gallon. It's 36 inches by 18 by I think like 13 or something like that, but pretty standard size there. I think with pico reefs you get a little bit cooler of a dimension because it's such a small tank. You can kind of go wonky with the design or the length or the depth of these pico reefs. And just seeing the build quality in some of them is awesome because the ReefCasa's got pretty much level build quality with my innovative marine with the silicone and the beading. But we're gonna jump into the slight review of this ReefCasa 6-gallon. So we've had this tank for a couple of months now. It sat dry for about a month, and it's been set up for a little over a month now. But this thing has been extremely awesome. The ReefCasa, the build quality, like I said, no crazy leaks or nothing like that. The quality of the glass is really nice. The silicone beads, there's no like extra drips of silicone anywhere. The all-in-one chambers, I haven't really been able to play too much with putting media or equipment back there, but there is actually a good amount of space back there to put like an ATO sensor or even a dosing line or something like that. So the tank itself has been awesome. I've been excited to put new additions in there. So we've got the cleaner shrimp in there with some Nassarius snails and the other bits and pieces that I mentioned. But yeah, I'm kind of just waiting to see where this tank goes. We may reposition those mangroves, but for now, I'm pretty happy with how it's looking. So the ReefCasa tank itself comes with, of course, the aquarium. There's a leveling mat. There is a nice cover for the all-in-one chamber, but I don't have it on right now just because I've got some other random pieces of equipment hanging out the back. But it also did come with a Aquanite LED, and we are running the NewSight K7 Mini over the tank right now, only because it's got the app feature and it was really easy to get set up. Whereas the Aquanite, I kind of have to play around and figure out how to get the settings on the lights correct, but we are running a different light over this tank. It came with 2 return pumps, one of which comes standard with the aquarium, but the second one is an upgrade that you can do on their website. So they sent me that, as well as the oscillator nozzle for the return. So we've got those both running. I think the pump is at 100% flow, and it's kind of just knocking into the base of one of the mangroves. It came with a Cobalt 50, I think a 25 watt heater, but Cobalt, very nice heater. We are using that on the aquarium right now. And then it came with a bunch of like filter material. There was a refractometer and other miscellaneous pieces to get this tank running, but a very nice kit, very generous kit that they sent. but you can go pick it up on their website. Check it out, ReefCasa. I am actually interested in a 20-gallon variant of a ReefCasa. I'm actually gonna do some research after this video because one of the things I kind of want to start gearing towards is setting up a 4th aquarium, and it's going to be another 20-gallon that's going to be right below this 20-gallon, so it's going to be down there. But we are planning on setting that up with LPS and SPS, and I think it would be cool if we had a matching ReefCasa tank to go along with it. If they make some sort of 20-gallon, then yeah, we might have to do some research and get one ordered. So to answer the title, or the question in the title, should you get a pico reef? My honest answer, or basic honest answer, is if you're new to the hobby, I would probably stay away from it. However, if you're someone that's super knowledgeable and you may be new to the hobby, it may be a fun challenge for you if you're up for that. But if you are a confident reefer and you want a challenge, I think picos are awesome. It doesn't take a lot to fill them up, and you can sometimes do like budget pico builds even, where these things really don't cost you a lot. You could probably do it for a couple $100, and you know, it's a really cool concept. Again, you can get some really good footprints for the aquariums and the equipment too. You don't have to get a lot of equipment for this tank, and the equipment that you do get for it, it's not going to be real expensive because, you know, a 25-watt heater, a 50-watt light, it's very basic equipment, so it's not going to break the bank. So if you are looking to maybe set up a second aquarium and you don't want it to be too expensive, a pico may be the right option. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. That's all I've got for you. Again, a huge shout out to ReefCasa and Fragbox, of course, for sending this tank. We are going to be doing continuous updates on this aquarium as it progresses, because we're going to be adding, I think, some more softies in there. I want a little bit more color, and I think I want some more stuff on the sand bed because it looks a little bare. But yeah, maybe some more rock, who knows? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. With all of that being said, I will be sure to catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.